Hello, welcome to Davita's Stampin' Spot for some more stamping. Today I want to share with you a stamp set that I just think is beautiful. It's this Mountain Air stamp set. I'm also going to be using Here's a Card to use this happy birthday, Best Year, which is this greeting here, wishing you your best year yet, and then Waterfront, I need these trees. This card is our basic layout. So it's a 5.5 by 4 1/4 card cut, cardstock cut, scored in half. And I did the mountains. I'm going to show you how to stamp everything, but this is just our basic layout. And then I did have to fussy cut the trees and added my birthday there. So that's the first card. I wanted to show you my envelope. I stamped the trees in Seaside Spray, or trees, the mountains in Seaside Spray, then moved it up just a little bit and did a second stamping without re-inking. And then the trees are actually here on the front side. So that's just your basic card. The next one I want to show you actually came from a mistake. So Fran Lynn, a very good friend of mine, shared a technique with me last week and with my team. And as I started creating, I messed up. So this is my messed up card. So I'm going to show you how to stamp all these images and the layout. And then I'm going to give you what Fran actually shared with me. So let's get started. I'm using Seaside Spray. And I have, you can tell I've been crafting a lot lately. Seaside Spray, Smoky Slate, and Night of Navy. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp the front. So I've got my cardstock here. I will post in the comments all the sizes for you, so you'll be able to see those. So we're going to take the mountain image here. You can tell I've used it a lot. It's got a lot of kind of a pink color to it. And we're going to stamp our mountains pretty much in the middle here. I like how long this is, so you don't have to repeat your stamping. It'll cover most of your layers here for the front of the card. So now what I'm doing is I'm wiping it off with my chamois. I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to turn it over. Stampin' Up! Has designed these new stamps so that we use the front and the back for our images. So now I'm going to ink up with the Smoky Slate, and I want this to be more of a shadow, so I'm going to stamp it on my paper first. We call that stamping off, and then I'm going to stamp my mountains in the background. And by flipping it around, we don't get everything looking exactly the same. Okay? Alright, so now we're going to go down to the trees. And the trees are the same thing. They have the detailed image. You can flip it over for a shadow. This is Mossy Meadow out of our neutrals colors as well. Everything but the Seaside Spray is in our neutrals collection. These, I just re-inked my Mossy Meadow, and it's a little heavy, so I'm going to stamp off first. Stamp it down below my mountains like that. And it looks like, for some reason I didn't get my ink quite right, so we got a little shadow there, but we'll be able to cover that up. So now what I'm going to do is I just grabbed a sponge, and we're going to take a little of the Mossy Meadow, and I just want to shadow in my grass down here, my meadow scene. You can sponge like this with a sponge or with your daubers, or if you're going to do a lot of it, you might want to pull out our sponge brayer to do that. Okay, so there we've got those pieces. Now we're going to come back with the clouds. Again, they would go either way, but I kind of liked the bumpy images here. So I'm going to do one there and then bring a shadow of it over there. And that's how we created this front section here. Then I'm going to stamp my happy birthday with the Night of Navy. I really like the font of this happy birthday. I found I've been using it a lot lately. Then we're going to do some more of the clouds, and I want it to be a soft image, so you'll notice I stamped off to make that, and that's my happy birthday. So that's our front piece. Now we're going to go and make the two inside pieces. So I have this piece here. We're going to do the mountains, but this time I want them to be a little bit softer. So we're going to stamp them in the Seaside foam. Seaside spray. I was just telling Kent, maybe I shouldn't be recording today because I seem to be messing up my words a lot. We'll see how this goes. You may get real stamp time with Davida today. Who knows what's going to happen. All right, so I'm going to stamp my mountains in the Seaside spray. And then this time, instead of creating the shadow and flipping it over, I'm just going to go up just a little bit and stamp them again just to get a different look. So you can see how different it looks between stamping it and flipping it over, or just doing two stampings with the same amount of ink. I'm going to come back with my trees again. So I'm going to ink them up with the Mossy Meadow. Stamp it. And put them down below. And then take my sponge and sponge again. And you'll notice the trees are a little bit darker. I'm trying to make my meadow lighter color than the trees. And then I want to add some of my clouds again. So again, I'm going to stamp direct on and then another one for that piece. Then our last piece we're going to stamp is this one here. Oops, I grabbed the wrong piece. Hang on just a second here. There we go. We're going to stamp the trees this time from the Mountain Air set. Now, if your ink pad is not as juicy as mine, you probably don't need to stamp off. But with my green, I just put way too much ink in it. And so I'm stamping off. And then I'm using this greeting from the Best Year Ever. It was Best Year. And make sure it's straight. This set I've had a hard time stamping straight. We'll see how I do today. Oh, not too bad. All right. So there you go. There are all the stamped pieces, and you can see how to do that. Now you can see I got a little bit of ink there, so probably what I'll do is I'll just trim that little edge off, and that'll look all right. So then what I did was I mounted, this paper comes from the In Good Taste Designer Series paper, and I just cut it at 4 by 5 1/4. Then I mounted this image on smoky slate. And this one I didn't mount on anything. And then this one I mounted on a smoky slate as well. Stamped my happy birthday with my clouds, fussy cut the trees. And I added some of the denim ribbon. All right, so that's that one. So here's one that stepped up just a little bit more, okay? So this time it's going to open with 2 flaps, okay? So I chose basic gray, and we're going to score this piece here just in half. It's, I believe, 9 inches, so it would be at 4 1/2 to score it. And then this piece is 4 1/4 by 8 1/4, scored at 2 3/4. So it flaps over like this. I just took a piece of the Seaside spray paper and stamped my clouds on there. Then did the same stamping that I've already showed you. And then what you would do is you take this piece here and you want it to fold in, and then you want this piece to fold in. And see how different it makes these look, but I've stamped the same thing on 3 different cards. I need to add my trees there. but it just shows you can take the same set and make it look very different just by creating some fun folds. So hope you enjoyed this. If you don't have this set and you struggle with masculine cards, this is an awesome set to use. So hope you enjoyed the video. I'd love to see if you take one of the layouts and create something. Please share a picture in the feed. I would love to see what you're creating. Hope you're having a great week, and we'll see you next week.